Hello again. We are working on section 1.2 now, operations of real numbers. We're going to start again with some definitions, pretty straightforward stuff. Subtraction, as you probably know already, is the addition of the opposite. So anytime we're subtracting, we are adding the opposite of a real number. So if we're adding the opposite, numbers like -4 and 4 are opposites. Okay, so you plus and minus guys love that. 6 minus 4 is the equivalent of 6 plus a -4. Okay, we're not going to do plus and minus, but that's what subtraction is. Division is multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, and hopefully you know what reciprocals are. Reciprocals are simply just flipping the fractions. The reciprocal of 3/2 is 2/3. Okay, so a couple definitions there. A little bit of review as well. Let's move on to adding fractions versus multiplying fractions. When we add fractions, we must have a common denominator. Of course, the denominator is the bottom part of the fraction. Okay, and then we only add the numerators. Okay, and then you reduce if possible. As opposed to multiplying fractions, when we multiply fractions, you can reduce at the beginning if you want. You can do that for adding fractions as well. But you only multiply the numerators and you only multiply the denominators. I should be careful with you only. But you just multiply the numerators, you multiply the denominators, and then you reduce. Okay? You don't cross multiply with multiplying fractions. Okay? And a couple other important things. 0, of course, is the fraction 0 divided by any number. Okay, so if you have 0 on the top and any number on the bottom, your solution is 0. 0 divided by a number. Undefined, of course, is any number divided by 0. 0 on the bottom is undefined. Or if 0 is under a number, it's undefined. 0 is under, unseen. And some more definitions. A reciprocal is also known as the multiplicative inverse, and that's simply flipping the fraction. As I said earlier, 2/3 can be, wow, that's funky. 2/3 becomes 3/2, or the reciprocal of 4 is 1/4. The reciprocal of 0 over a number, doesn't matter what the number is. I have a hard time here. If we flip that, 0 goes to the bottom, and the number goes to the top. So a number over 0, of course, is undefined, or the reciprocal of 0 is undefined. Equivalent fractions. -1/4. Here are 3 examples of -1/4, and it doesn't matter where the negative sign is. If the negative's on the numerator, -1 over +4. I'm having a hard time writing here with my pen. Or a +1 over a -4, or the opposite of +1 over +4. Those are all. I'm going to do some sample problems to perform these indicated operations. -12.31 minus -2.13. Well, that's -12.31 plus 2.13. We can add those together, and that is going to still be negative because my negative is much greater. So -10 point and 31 and 13. The difference between those two is 18. So -10.18 is our solution here. Okay. One that might be a little bit easier here. A little easier arithmetic, no decimals for me. -8 minus a -12 minus the quantity 2 minus 6. So -8 minus a -12 is plus 12 minus the quantity 2 minus 6 is, well, that's negative 4, still in parentheses. So negative 8 plus 12 plus 4. 12 plus 4 is 16 minus 8, and our solution is 8. A couple more sample problems. A little multiplication here. Now we have a negative times a negative here. Okay, so negative times a negative, I already know my answer is going to be positive. Okay, and 24 over 9, I probably can reduce that. So probably should have given myself some more room. Times 24 over 9. Well, 24, if I'm not mistaken, is at 8 times 3. And 9 is 3 times 3. So the 3's cancel. And it's negative 3/8 times, I end up with 3/8 times 8/3. Well, that is equal to 1. Those are reciprocals. How about that? Our definition of division is multiplying by the reciprocal. Looking at example number 4, we've got division. So I can change this to a multiplication problem. Negative 10/17 times 5/12. That's a negative 5/12. Ooh, I'm gonna do some cross canceling here. It looks like my answer is gonna be positive. I've got a negative times a negative, so my answer is gonna be positive. 10 and 12. 10 is 5 times 2. 12 is 6 times 2. So I'm going to cancel the 2's. I can cross cancel. I can't cross multiply, but I can cross cancel. Multiplying fractions, numerator times numerator. 5 times 5 is 25. And then 17 times 6 is a 102. So we get 25 over 102 for our final answer. You don't need the positive sign there, but that just helps us out. And in sample problem number 5, once again, we've got our fraction bar, so we've got division here, 12/13 divided by negative 4/3. So there's some similarities between problems 4 and 5. Okay, and I think I'm going to, division, of course, is multiplying by the reciprocal. So I get 12 over 13 divided by negative 4/3, so that would be the same as times 3/4. That's a negative 3/4. I only have one negative here, so I'm going to have a negative answer, so I'm going to bring that down. 12 and 4, I can simplify those because 12 is 4 times 3. So my 4's cancel. So I end up 3 times negative 3, multiplying my numerators, negative 9 over 13, and that is my final answer. And that wraps it up for section 1.2, and I will see you guys in class.